If you could go out with one Villa player for New Year's Eve night, who would it be?
I don't know, who'd you?
Alan Hutton.
Alan Hutton?
Yeah, I think he'd be lively.
I mean, most of our local rivals, when they get anything against us, they seem to celebrate it like a win, which is not how I like to operate. It's quite small time. But
sure, but
each to their own. Just a little prank there. Prank Sinatra.
Didn't see that.
No, okay.
And somebody came up to Dan. I was like, "Oh, I love what you do with the Villa View. It's so good. Love the podcast. Love the podcast." I mean, I am literally half of the podcast. And Dan's like, "Oh yeah, there's Tom as well." He's like, "Who?"
Hello, welcome to the Villa View podcast season 3 with myself, Dan Bardell, and Tom Julian, who has had an absolute whiffer this evening.
It almost feels like season 4. That's how late I am. I have nothing but apologies.
I mean, you don't really need to apologise to everyone else because it makes no difference to them.
That's true.
It's still going to go out at the same time for everyone else.
I'm apologising to you and I'm apologising to Jacob. I basically had a shocker at work. And for anybody that still thinks that Dan and I have the dream gig of just doing this and a couple of previews and whatnot, that's not true. Today was a vintage occasion of life just conspiring against me. So I apologise to you.
I don't need to apologise to me. I'm fine with it. I'm fine.
But the positive of this is, for those of you that follow me on Twitter, a few weeks ago I went to the England-Bulgaria game and Stuart Pearce walked past me in England hospitality and I basically saw him and bottled saying hello to him. He's on the debate tonight at Sky and he came in to Sky at the same time as me.
You saw him, yeah?
And Stuart Pearce was my idol growing up. I played fullback and absolutely loved him. And he basically joined the queue to get in behind me.
The fact that Stuart Pearce has to join a queue behind you doesn't feel great.
It felt great to me.
Right. Yeah,
it felt really nice to me. Anyway, I basically took this opportunity because he was stuck. He had to sign in to get a pass, and I was like, Stuart, I just want to say you're a massive idol to me growing up, and it's a pleasure to meet you. He kind of went, thanks.
Didn't watch. He's not a podcast viewer.
not a Villa View fan. You were also critical of me for not getting a photo. That's not.
I would have done that.
That's not really who I am.
No, I'm saying that to be fair. When I saw Carew at Wembley in the playoff final, I did go running over to him, to be fair, but it's because I had a few beers. But probably, if I hadn't have had a few beers, I probably wouldn't have asked him for a photo. No,
I didn't ask him for a photo, but I was really glad to meet him. He kind of looked nonplussed, essentially. Yeah. But I felt like I'd righted a wrong in my life.
Yeah, I mean that's one positive to come out of you being over 2 hours late.
It's the only positive.
I mean, you're not as lucky as me because obviously I'm best friends with my hero, Ian Taylor. So
well, that's true.
Not everyone gets to be best friends with a hero. I'm very lucky.
That's true. You also live 2 minutes away, so me being maybe 2 hours late, maybe more, is not so much of an issue for you as opposed to me where I still have to get back across town.
I mean, it's an issue when I've drove past the station that you end up getting off at the wrong station, by the way, and I have to turn around as well to come back and get you. But that's the end of it. Let's talk about Villa. Let's not dwell on personal problems.
And what a weekend!
Yes, we've been waiting for this, haven't we?
What a weekend! Norwich 1, Aston Villa 5. We have been waiting for this. It could be a landmark victory.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We talked about Villa playing well, putting together performances for 60, 70 minutes, and it all came together on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I have to take a little bit of the credit myself for making that prediction in the preview. I did say I haven't predicted a Salute yet this season, so I'll do it, get it out of the way, and hopefully that means we win, and it came true. But I didn't envisage an emphatic 5-1 victory, that's for sure.
How much, and we'll get into the game obviously, but how much do you put down to the fact that Norwich had 13 players?
13?
I think it is, yeah. I think their injury count is 13. Obviously not 13 starters, that's impossible. Yeah. But they were missing...
Thanks for telling me it's impossible. 13 stars,
just
I wouldn't have got there.
But I mean, they missed not just their first choice goalkeeper, their second choice goalkeeper. Things like that. Yeah, that's a massive blow to Norwich.
Yeah, it makes a difference for sure. But then I look at it and think, well, there was 10 people missing when they beat Man City. They're a good home side, Norwich. They've started the season reasonably well at home until Saturday. So obviously it makes a difference. If we'd have had that amount of people missing, we'd have struggled. Let's face it. But they've still got their main striker still playing in Puka.
He's the only one, though.
Their best defender was playing in Godfrey, although I think he's had to go and have an operation in the international break now.
Yeah.
2 fullbacks were first choice. A couple of the midfielders, I'm pretty sure, are first choice as well. So they've still
Buendia was playing, and he got robbed for Iran's goal as well.
They've still got a strongish side out.
Yeah, that's
They've
true.
got an academy midfielder playing at centre back, which I think hinders them. And when I was watching the game, because I sat at home and watched the whole 90 minutes through.
Yeah.
in my new advantageous way.
Yeah.
That I've got to watch any game. And they were so open.
Yeah.
So open. It was end to end, to be fair, the first half. Norwich had chances to score, but they were very, very open. A bit naive, I would say. They've obviously got people missing, but it's naive to play that open because you will get picked off.
Do you think Daniel Farke doesn't have another way to play? Is that the limitation of Norwich City, that they play with this kind of expansive style, and now that they're backs against the wall, essentially, they don't have any other way to do it?
But the Man City game, they had to dig in and do some defending, and they did it. You think, okay, it's not Man City, it's Villa.
Yeah.
But you still need to dig in and do some defending.
But they couldn't dig in because they were already 1-0 down, and you can't dig in at that stage.
True, I can't remember the order of the goals against Man City, to be honest, even though I was just sat here and said I watched the whole 90 minutes. I can't remember the order of the goals. But you know what? Do you know what I mean? Like, when it's 2-0, just defend a little bit better. They got away with it. Yeah. You're 2-0 down. Don't be giving away a silly penalty that they did. And to be fair, at that point, when we missed that penalty, I'm sure we'll come on to it, I thought, oh God, please don't let this be the turning point now, because I felt like, right, they've saved the penalty, tails are going to be up, crowd are going to be up, next goal's massive. Luckily we got it, but if they'd have got it, it would have been a different game, because as I say, first half there wasn't much in it, I didn't think.
No, well, let's get into it then, because Villa take the early lead, which is brilliant. Goulbert and El Ghazi combine on the right hand side, and that's a combination that's really kind of coming together. Even though El Ghazi started on the left, the start of the season on the left, there's a nice dynamic forming between those two.
Yeah, I think because Jack's now obviously playing left.
Yeah.
I think you have to. If you've got a left winger, even though he's not really playing as a left winger, that's going to cut inside and drift, because he was playing very centrally, very high up, Grealish.
Yeah.
You need someone on the right wing that's wide, stays wide. So El Ghazi and Trezeguet both being right-footed, they can both do that, but El Ghazi's flown a little bit under the radar, I think, because he's quite productive, isn't he?
Not on this podcast.
We talk about Connor and his productivity, but El Ghazi on the wing's pretty productive. He gets goals and he gets assists. I think he's quite understated and quite underrated.
I don't think he's underrated on this podcast. Maybe in a wider.
I think I'm perhaps a bit guilty of underrating him, to be honest.
I love El Ghazi, and I have done ever since that. I mean, I've come back to that West Brom goal so many times. It's brilliant. I don't ever want to forget it. But he's a live wire, and like any winger, he can drift out of games.
Oh, he's inconsistent for sure,
and he goes missing. But he's been really, really important, and I felt like maybe 3 or 4 of the goals he had a direct hand in. If he wasn't playing the pass, he was playing the pass that played the pass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that 11.
Yeah,
that we've got at the moment. I mean, he's finished last week at Burnley, was sensational against Burnley. Sorry, that was absolutely sensational. Again.
And he perhaps should have scored against Norwich as well. He kind of opens his body up and plays a shot, and McGovern makes a decent save.
TV save central.
It's a TV
what
save.
A TV save that was.
But El Ghazi perhaps thinks he should have done better in there.
He probably holds himself to high standards. I think he's got a touch of arrogance, but in the right way.
Yeah.
El Ghazi, I remember his first game when he put in a cross and we scored. I think Elmo scored off it, and he was celebrating in the crowd like he was Cristiano Ronaldo. El Ghazi just from getting an assist. So I think he's got a bit of arrogance with him, but the right way.
Well, he did that for the first goal. So he puts in this beautiful ball to Wesley, and I think it's a mistake from the Norwich defenders. They come out together. I just don't think they're seeing the El Ghazi cross from that. Like, he kind of turns.
It's a weird cross. It's not a stereotypical cross that you see much of, I didn't think.
So he's kind of backed onto himself and turns it around and whips it in with his left boot, and it's a beautiful ball. But I can't remember who the other central defender is, but it's Godfrey and
Amadou.
Amadou, yeah, right. So Wesley's caught between the two. Amadou's way too high up. Godfrey's lacking, but thinks that Amadou's got him, and Wesley brings it down really nicely, slots it past McGovern, no problem. But I just don't think they're expecting that ball to come through.
McGovern wiping out Amadou kind of summed up their day as well. He just comes out and just clatters straight through him, and Wesley puts it in the gap. He's not a centre-back, Amadou.
Right.
That's part of their problem, isn't it? He's a defensive midfielder, a young defensive midfielder learning his trade. It'd be a good learning curve for him, I guess. A day like that, sometimes you take more away from those kind of games than you will have done in the Man City game, for example, where he was actually very good at centre back. But Wesley still did well to tuck it away.
No,
he
for sure.
took up a good position.
Yeah.
Clever, because he realised that Godfrey and Amadou weren't where they were supposed to be, and he took advantage of the space and tucked it home.
I'm taking nothing away from Wesley because he played really well the whole game, and I thought he did super well to put himself in good positions, and he was a central part of our attack, as he should be. Just the fact that there was a little bit of inexperience there from Norwich, and maybe more so than we would have even expected, it doesn't take away from the performance, but I mean, I don't want to be the negative guy here, but they were missing loads, and so when we go to when we bring in front of you. Sure, but when we bring Brighton to Villa Park on Saturday, next Saturday, I really hope that we see that again.
Well, it'll be a completely different test. They play a completely different system. Brighton, they play 3 at the back, don't they? I always think when you're a lone striker playing against 3 at the back, it's tough. So you need to get people close to Wesley in that game. It won't be as open as it was for him on Saturday. But what I will say about Wesley is, from the first minute, I thought, right, he's on it here.
Yeah.
He looks completely different. And he's come out himself and acknowledged that he wasn't good enough in the Burnley game. Dean Smith's come out and said he knows he wasn't good enough in the Burnley game. They've had a chat. But straight away, he was playing at the right intensity. He was getting in amongst it. He was holding the ball up, which is something I've not seen him do too much. I've not seen much of his hold-up play. I wouldn't have been able to sit here and say a few weeks ago, his hold-up play is not great, because I just don't feel I've seen it from him.
We saw a bit against Everton, didn't we? But not enough.
But this, straight away, he was holding the ball up. He was disrupting their defence, and I thought, right, this guy looks a different gravy this week. He looks different to what I saw at against Burnley.
No, it's good. It's super positive that we're seeing these signs from Wesley and from, we'll get into Hurahan, we'll get into Grealish, but it just felt like the offensive kind of machine clicked.
Can I just say, we've had a whole probably 1 minute before we came on air talking about Connor's surname, saying how you say it, and you managed to say it wrong. Are you telling me
I'm going with Hurahan until he tells me it's wrong.
I mean, he's told the world that that's wrong.
So. I need him to ring me up and let me know. But
I'm sure he's got your number.
Yeah, I'm sure. What was my point? The whole offensive system seemed to just click against Norwich, and Wesley. But Wesley is the focal point of that, and I'm taking nothing away from him, because I thought he was fantastic, and I thought he really deserved a hat trick.
The thing is, right, Smith's a 4-3-3 man. Yeah. He will always play 4-3-3. It was pretty much from day one. I don't remember us playing too many systems. I remember one game where we played 4-2-3-1. I think it was at home to Ipswich. But in the main, it's 4-3-3, isn't it? 95% of the time it's been that under Dean Smith. So we're not playing it system-wise, we're not playing anything different from what we've been playing all season. But the team just looks so much more balanced now. Grealish is playing left midfield, but he's not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It's so fluid. He's now playing so close to Wesley, so high up, and he can just get into dangerous positions. And I think Connor spoke about it in an interview that I've read this week, in that when Jack comes inside, him and McGinn, if they're over that side, because I think they're quite fluid in swapping as well, they know that they need to stretch the pitch and go a bit wider. And you see so many times where Jack's inside and Connor will pop up on the left wing. He got an assist from there, didn't he, for the second goal? Got an assist chalked off last week against Burnley. So the players we've got are intelligent footballers.
Sure.
So even though we're playing the exact same system now, the personnel and the game intelligence that we've got to play that formation in a different way, it's just made us look a whole lot different and a whole lot better.
I think that's massively underrated, the intelligence of Smith and what he's teaching this team, because you're absolutely right. They're playing a different, not only a formation, but a completely different system that is not replicated anywhere else. I wonder if that actually harms Grealish and his England kind of fortunes, because he's playing a different position that Gareth Southgate's never going to play.
I mean, he might. I mean, you never know if he's that much of a success there in England. Try him there one game. It might be something we do, but I would say we're very well stocked England on the wings.
Yeah,
Sancho, Hudson-Odoi, Sterling,
and he's not that like for like swapping.
No, but also just thinking off the top of my head, because obviously I didn't know you were going to say that.
Yeah.
When Jesse Lingard plays most of his time for Man U on the wing. He's mainly played in the wing. When Southgate, we went to the World Cup, and then we played three at the back, and we played someone in the pivot, Henderson or Dyer, and then we played Ali and Lingard as attacking eights, which is the formation Villa play.
Yeah.
Lingard was playing an attacking eight, which is not a position he plays at Man U. So he'd rather be playing in the centre, I think, but I think if we look at his performance on Saturday compared to his performance when he's been in the centre, he looks a lot more effective there to me. And he's still spending a lot of his time in central midfield.
Yeah.
He's basically got the licence to go where he wants, and against a better team, maybe that doesn't work as well. And there'll be times when Smith changes his personnel and Connor might not be in the team, or, I don't know, Nakamba might not be in the team and Connor sits deep, or whatever. He'll change it round. But at the moment, and for the next game as well, Brighton at home, you've got to say, that 11 is the 11 you pick if everyone's fit.
I don't think you can deviate from that. Like you say, when everybody's fit, that looks like the team that works, and
it's the one that's worked best so far.
So and I would think that works at home as well. Do you know what I mean? We've talked about Smith having an away team and a home team.
That's a home 11 for sure. I mean, obviously we used it on Saturday, but that is a home 11 for sure, with the two fullbacks bombing on as well. They've made a hell of a difference. Target coming in, we've looked like we've got a different dimension coming forward, and everything's just come together a bit more with Target in the side.
We're going to talk about Target more because I want to get into him for Connor's goal, but you mentioned it before. Norwich had their chances, and Cantwell looked a lively player. There was a point where immediately after we scored, he was kind of dancing between the Villa defenders, wins a free kick. Norwich put in a decent ball, and Mings gets rid of it. But it was. They look sharp, Norwich. They didn't look like they were missing so many players that they weren't a Premier League team.
I think because the style that they've got under Farker is so drilled into all of them. Whoever comes in, they all know how they're supposed to be playing. That's what stems from having a DNA.
Yeah.
And Farker's been there for a long time now. Third season now. Farker, the players know what he wants.
Might be his fourth. Might come in 3.5.
I feel like it's third, but I can't remember.
They got relegated the same year as us, didn't they? So
yeah, but they're one of the few teams we managed to beat in the season we got relegated. Cantwell's a bit like Grealish to me. He's playing from the left, but you don't see him much on the wing. He doesn't strike me as a winger, the same as Jack doesn't strike me as a natural winger. Cantwell's playing from the left, and he's spending a lot of the game coming inside because he's got a full-back behind him, a wing-back in Lewis, that can bomb on and cause problems, and that's what we've got now.
Yeah,
we Target the same. I feel like I'm determined to get this conversation onto Target. Whatever you're asking me, it seems to come back to Target. Left back.
We'll get there. You've got to calm yourself. But Mings and Heaton had a couple of moments, and I don't want to make any more of it than it was. But obviously, Mings cleared that ball from the free kick, and then went back to speak to Heaton about it. And then obviously for the goal later on, there was a bit of a moment where neither of them spoke to each other, and they kind of bashed into each other.
I like that though.
I like it too. So that's what I wanted to put to you. I don't think there's any bad blood or there's anything wrong with that, but they're both so kind of want to win and want to keep a clean sheet that both are a bit annoyed at each other, kind of thing.
Fuming for my fancy team as well that there's no clean sheet in there when there should be. Do
you have both of them in there?
I think I've took Heaton out recently. I had Pope in goal at the weekend. I've got Mings in there,
right.
But they're frustrated because they want to keep clean sheets because unfortunately. We've skipped way ahead here. We
talk to me about Target.
We make a mistake and we get punished. But it's just that error doesn't happen if we're not cruising through the game. I don't think it's just a moment of being switched off. The whole thing was lazy. I thought from McGinn taking the free kick the way he did was quite casual, quite lax.
I've got in my notes stupid free kick,
and then Mings knocks it back in a stupid way. Heaton's probably a bit slow off his line as well. It's just one of them things we've messed up.
Yeah.
We're messing around. But in the first half, you talk about Mings and Head. I thought Mings had a great first half. He made a couple of really crucial blocks and interceptions. Same with Nakamba, who found himself in the right place so many times in that first half. Because there was times when we were under pressure at 1-0, at 2-0. There were times when Norwich were coming forward and looked like they'd score. A couple of set pieces as well. Mings virtually hacked one off that wasn't on the line. There was a moment when he was on the floor with the ball, lying on the ball as well. That could have been handball on another day, but. He was having to do defending, Mings, and he was defending very well. Do you want to
talk about that now? Do you think it was obstruction? Do you think Norwich should have got more from that?
I wouldn't have been happy to see that given against us. If we'd have had it given the other way, I'd have thought, that's quite fortunate.
So that's what I was going to say. Would you... Because I think you would have been right up Andy Madley's...
Well, probably, because in recent weeks, Tom, as you know, there's been a few issues with referees and VAR.
One or two.
Yeah, I've had a few problems.
Right, okay, but you can't... You've got to take each game as it comes.
It's not clear and obvious, always, would be my answer.
I think you'd have been furious if that hadn't been...
I'm just going by the handbook, mate. It's not clear and obvious, the VAR handbook.
To me, it was fair. I mean, at one point, I think Mings is like doing an all-four crouch around the ball.
He can't get out of the way. He's a big
He literally got in the way of the ball.
If he gets out matter the way they score.
Listen,
he's done what he's got to do.
Oh, exactly.
He's done what he's got to do.
So I think Villa get a little bit fortunate there, especially at 1-0.
Well, do we not deserve a bit of fortune?
100%. Listen, I'm a Villa fan. Sometimes I forget that I'm a Villa fan.
No, people say in the comments, you're not Villa, you're referee FC.
I should get a kit.
That's how you but I'm waiting for the day for you to come in here in a ref kit, to be honest.
I'm going to go back home and pull out my referee's kit.
No chance that still fits. No chance that still fits.
That's harsh. That's harsh. But you're right. I mean, we got a little bit fortunate there. But just before that, Villa should be 2-0 up. I mean, El Ghazi has that chance, which is camera saved by Michael McGovern. Then we have that corner, which Wesley heads, and McGovern kind of does this weird body save.
McGovern is a strange goalkeeper. I've watched him a few times and thought he was strange.
So I texted you before the game on our WhatsApp group, and I said Villa have to win here, and you said Norwich still putting out a good side.
I was just going by the fact of the Man City game.
But I sent you a message just saying Michael McGovern making
he's poor.
Starting as a Premier League goalkeeper at 35. It's not right.
My boss is a Northern Ireland fan.
Right.
He's Northern Ireland fan. He's Northern Irish. So
he's a Welsh guy, but he loves
supports Northern Ireland heavily.
Right. Go on.
And he said to me, he was like, when he saw McGovern was playing and he saw that we'd scored 5, he thought, oh no, what's he done here? But then he said he was pleasantly surprised when he looks back because McGovern wasn't really at fault for any of the goals.
Well, McGovern had a really up and down game. So the moment we're talking about is
he's not very tall. I feel like I'm taller than him.
Yeah, possibly. You're deceptively tall.
I'm 6'1", so
yeah.
I'd say he's not even 6 foot, McGovern. He looks really small in the goal.
So Wesley heads the ball, and it's not the best header, but McGovern kind of just saves it with his body and kind of just like pushes it out. I mean, if you're listening on the audio, that's
he pushes out with his chest. Tom's just pushed out his chest.
Yeah, and then El Ghazi kind of follows up with a header, and he should do better. He should hit the target. It's the bar.
I was tweeting through the games. I was watching with what was going on, and I said, should score.
Should score.
Should score. He'll know himself. He should have scored. He's not cost us. But next time, El Ghazi, if the game's tight, please score.
But then if Pookie puts that ball away that Cantwell puts through, and that becomes 1-0, it becomes a different game, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you never know. It's a butterfly effect, isn't it, of football. You can never say, well, this happened and then that happened. But El Ghazi should score that. McGovern should do better in the first place.
Yeah.
So then we go on.
Got away with it.
We go on and Pookie doesn't take that chance. Mings stops the ball in whatever means necessary, and
McGinn had a couple of goals from range as well, didn't he?
He did.
The first half, close. Yeah.
McGinn's
quiet in the second half, actually.
McGinn's
standards,
but he's continued to impress, hasn't he? He obviously had the Cruyff turn, which has caught fire on Twitter. But you're right. I thought he had quite a quiet game for McGinn's standards.
But I liked that, because he had a quiet game. Because I was saying in previous weeks, the only person I ever feel like was going to score is McGinn.
Yeah.
But then other players have stepped up and scored. 4 different players have scored in that game that aren't John McGinn.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, because I was worried about that. It was something that was concerning me. Where are the goals coming from? Now you look at it and you think, oh, there's goals everywhere. Well,
let's talk about it, because Wesley scores his second of the game.
Very similar to the Arsenal goal, I thought.
So I was going to... It's very similar to the Burnley, where he steps over the ball and then McGinn scores. And I was just like, why did he miss the Burnley chance? That still doesn't make any sense to me.
He just didn't have a good day at the office against Burnley, and anything he tried didn't come off.
For sure, but I still can't rack my brains around why he missed that. Anyway, it's a simple chance. Grealish...
I feel like that. There's one in the game against Villa on tour that we won 1-0 if anyone hasn't watched it.
Are you talking about me?
And there was a ball, someone pinged in a lovely ball to you, and I feel like, why didn't he get that? I remember thinking he could have got there.
I rifled it over the bar, didn't I?
And there was one where you just...
A different one.
Someone curled the ball in and you just missed connecting with the ball.
A
bit like... missed it in a similar way to Wesley, and I feel like you're getting on Wesley's back for that. When there's video evidence of you doing something similar.
I would say there's quite stark differences between me and Wesley.
Oh, big time.
One that he's a lot younger, a lot more flexible, and paid a lot more to be a better footballer.
I mean, he is a footballer.
Yeah.
No one's ever said, oh, Tom Julian's a footballer.
Wow.
A professional.
That's not true.
You've never been paid for being a professional footballer.
Football manager, I would be, what was it, a hot prospect.
Decent young player.
Decent young player.
Potentially not needed by the club on the transfer list.
Wow, cold. But fair. Maybe not needed by this podcast soon enough.
Oh, no, we do need you. I'm not doing the notes.
There's no one else. What were we even talking about? Yeah, so Wesley gets that goal, and it's massive for him. So now he's 4-8, and the
good ratio.
The narrative around Wesley completely changes. And I'll be the first to say that I've not given Wesley an easy time, because I want the best for a Villa striker, and I still feel like we are so short up front that we need a striker to be scoring goals all the time. But having said that, 4 and 8 is not a bad ratio, and like you say, there are goals coming from other places, which helps Villa a lot.
I feel like Grealish, McGinn and Horan, I've said it wrong now. Grealish, McGinn and Connor, if they all play games in that fluid system, I think they'll all score goals. They'll all get somewhere near double figures. If they were to play the rest of the season now, with those three where they are in the team, I think they'd all be pushing double figures. Yeah, which would be great. And if Wesley could get 10 to 15 as well, you're looking good, aren't you? And
Wesley's on target for that, which is, I guess, the good thing about where we are right now. The one thing I would say is that we haven't played a raft of top sides yet, so there it still feels to me like he hasn't come up against the best defences in the Premier League. So we still have. I'm coming across really negative about Wesley, and I didn't mean to be, and I didn't come in here to be.
You've had a bad night, haven't you, and you're taking out on Wesley again?
And especially after we've won 5-1, but I feel like there has to be a dose of realism here in that we played a Norwich side that was not at its strongest.
Fair. I think that's a fair point, but also, as I said earlier, you can only beat what's there.
Sure.
And we needed a win, and we got a win.
And nothing would make me happier is if we're against Brighton next weekend, and Wesley does exactly the same, and he plays in a dominant way. And
give him confidence now. That will.
I really hope.
Even though he missed his penalty, it will give him confidence. Yeah. I mean, I would say as well. Say if we'd won the game 2-1, we'd be coming in here now and we'd be saying, "Great win, much needed 3 points." We wouldn't even be questioning how many people Norwich had missing because we've won so well. It's almost like that's made you feel a little bit like, oh, it's too easy.
Maybe.
So maybe we're not as good as I think we are because it was against an easy opposite, a team missing a lot of players. You get what I mean?
Yeah,
if it won 2-1, it was a battle, you'd be saying, oh, good resilience, good win, that is great stuff. Because it was so easy in the end, scoreline-wise, I think you're coming in here and thinking, you're giving Norwich... No, you're not giving Villa enough credit.
Yeah, maybe I am. And I think if we go out and again beat Brighton in a convincing manner,
must win. You've got to follow it up with a win now.
Then I'll be really delighted with what's happened. Obviously, 3 points is 3 points, and we've talked about it before. Like, you can do all the performances you want, but points matter. And at the end of the day, Norwich don't have their full team out, but we've got to beat them, and we have done.
Are they ahead of us, Norwich, or are we ahead of them?
Not anymore. No,
but before play, they were ahead of us.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, I read Talk Norwich City's. It was really interesting. Talk Norwich City did their podcast straight after the loss, and I just looked at their comments, and it was such a stark reminder of where we were kind of even a year ago when everything was going bad for Villa. It's just like, what's going wrong? What does Farke need to do? Is Farke the right man? All this kind of stuff. It
feels harsh. I felt like I was surprised by what I saw on that video and on Norwich, the comments and tweets from Norwich in general. I was really surprised by it.
I feel like Farke has been dealt such a bad hand.
They spent so little money.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of money, but they have been promoted the same as us, so they do have some. But they've just been really unfortunate. Ultimately,
the injuries are killer.
Yeah,
but I felt like we've probably been guilty of this as well. I was reading their stuff and thinking, have a bit of realism. Come on, like, you've got all those injuries. You're not going to win every week. You're not spending much money. You're not going to win every week.
To me, it felt like they've forgotten that they've beaten Man City. And I know you can't live on the past. And again, points mean things. They definitely saw the fact that they'd been battered by Villa, and there was a lot of comments where it was like, it's not Arsenal or Spurs, it's Villa kind of thing, like that kind of derogatory. And I was like, well, you know, we outclass, and I mean, Spurs and Arsenal aren't anything to scream about.
I mean, we felt like Spurs was a tough game to start, but mid-table side.
I feel like
nowadays
we've been robbed there.
Yeah, we should have been that mid-table, like bang average Spurs.
So Wesley has a chance to put his hat-trick away. It's a very clumsy challenge by Kenny McLean.
Knew what he'd done, didn't it?
100%.
Knew what he had done.
And Connor plays it perfectly. He's a consummate move by a veteran midfielder just to...
We won't be happy with veteran midfielder. 28.
He's a veteran. As an experienced midfielder.
I don't think he's a veteran, though. When you say Glenn Whelan was a veteran midfielder...
Well, yeah, but I think there's different
let us know in the comments if Tom's right there. I don't think that's...
How would you describe
Seasoned midfielder.
Same
No,
thing.
veteran and seasoned are two different things.
Anyway,
he's
a
not
very
a veteran midfielder.
Experienced midfielder, Conor Hourihane.
That's only his third ever Premier League start.
But I mean, he's scored goals in every league. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's played it absolutely perfectly, knocks it past, and McLean just jumps in.
Silly.
And immediately McLean has got guilt written all over his face. Hourihane goes down perfectly fine because it's a complete penalty. No doubt.
Yeah, it's a foul. Yeah, I saw a few people saying, "Oh, why did we let Wesley take the penalty? Is it because he's on a hat trick?" I think he's just a pen taker. We haven't had a penalty since Tammy Abraham left.
Yeah.
So I think Wesley is the penalty taker. He took one in pre-season and smashed it in the top corner, didn't he?
Even if you weren't the penalty taker, would you demand to take that if you were on your hat trick? First half hat trick, first hat trick in the Premier League.
I mean, if I was a greedy goal scorer, I probably would. But what I would say is, if he's not the penalty taker, I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
The normal penalty taker takes it. It's 2-0. It's not like you're winning 5-6-0 at this point. It's 2-0.
I think you need to look at the striking mentality there. And like if Grealish has an argument, say Grealish is the penalty taker, if they have an argument about it, I think that's worse. If I was Grealish in that if I was Grealish in that situation, I'd go, you want to take the penalty, you take it.
No, I don't like that. Let's say Grealish is the pen taker.
Yeah.
Right, let's say we have got a penalty a few weeks ago.
I think I'm going to be wrong in the comments here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Go with that for most things.
Yes,
that's going to happen. Right, say we got a penalty a few weeks ago. Yeah. Wesley and Grealish are both on the pitch. Grealish scores the penalty in that game, and then the next game, Grealish says, "Go on then, Wesley, you take it. We're 2-0 up." He misses. We don't win that game, and the proper pen taker hasn't taken the penalty. You can't do it at 2-0. When he gets to 5-6,
yeah, but I think it comes.
Then you say, "Oh, he's on his hat trick. We're 5-0 up. There's no danger of us."
When it comes to 5-6,
there's no danger of us not winning this game.
Right.
Have the penalty. But you can't be taking risks like that.
No, but if you have a big argument about it, I mean, this is all hypothetical.
He's the penalty taker. Wesley is the penalty taker.
Yeah,
100%.
All hypothetical, right? But does an argument between Grealish and Wesley cause more of an issue than just going, yeah, all right, you take it, and then he misses, and that's unfortunate because then we don't.
Did it the other way? Didn't they? Rashford scored a pen at the start of the season. Next game, Popper ends up taking it and misses. But there's no argument or anything.
No,
but that's just what they decided. I'm a Man U fan. I'm seething by that because I'm thinking, Rashford scored in the last game. I remember in 98.
But that's different, isn't it? Because but nobody was on a hat trick.
I remember in 98-99 and
ignore my point.
Sorry, I'm so focused on getting this season correct in what I'm about to say.
Go on.
So it's 98-99. Don't know whether you heard.
I did.
And we beat Newcastle 1-0 and Lee Hendry scored a penalty. It was on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Then on the Saturday we played Wimbledon at home. Yeah. It's Paul Merson's debut. We got a penalty. Lee Hendry picks the ball up, about to take, and I've read this in John Gregory's book as well, so I know it's true. Lee Hendry's about to take the penalty. John Gregory sends Hugo Ekiago over quickly to say, no, Alan Thompson's taking it.
Oh, right.
And Alan Thompson had already missed a penalty earlier on in that season.
Right.
So John Gregory's reason for this was, in training they'd been practicing penalties and Thompson had been banging them in, and Hendry had missed a few.
Okay.
Alan Thompson steps up, misses the penalty. Right. So he's missed the penalty, and he probably wasn't the designated penalty taker before the game.
Okay.
Second, then we had another penalty.
Yeah.
Lee Hendry by this point has probably thought, I'm not going to put myself forward for this penalty. Paul Merson takes the penalty. He misses as well, but then he tucks away the rebound. But all these things, the point I'm making, in that occasion in 98-99 doesn't look like we knew who the penalty taker was. Today, or Saturday, I think we knew Wesley was the penalty taker, and that's how it should always be. You've got a penalty taker. If you're more than 3-4 goals up and you get a penalty and someone's on a hat trick, I think you're okay to take it.
I once played a game at a university, and we basically set the rule on the morning that if we were 3 goals up, then Robbo of the Cambridge Mafia and once of this podcast booth could take the penalty. Just turned out we were 3-0 up and we got a penalty. He had to take it. Buried it.
Did I?
I mean, and Robbo will listen to this, I assume, and not the best footballer I've
never seen him play, I don't think.
I mean, he's fine, but not a penalty taker. Absolutely stuck it away. He's also scored one of the best goals I've ever seen. Like, he sounds like
a fluke player.
He's a very topsy-turvy player. Yeah. Should Wesley stick away the rebound? Kind of feel like he should.
Actually, a good save. It's actually a good save.
For the rebound?
Yeah,
I thought it was a good save for the penalty.
No, but I thought the opposite. I thought the pen wasn't that great. I didn't think he was far enough in the corner.
Right.
And then I felt like the rebound at the time. I was like, I should score the rebound as well. Come on. Right. If you look at it back, he backs himself very big, McGovern. He's not the tallest goalkeeper, I'll have you know.
Yeah, well, you have let that.
Yeah, he just makes himself big and makes it's a good save, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the penalty goes low to his right. It's not right in the corner, but I think obviously if it goes the wrong way, then it's buried. But McGovern, decent save. I feel like Wesley needs to be a little bit sharper, and he can tuck that away. Maybe
honestly, if you watch it back, it's a slow-mo. It's a good save.
Okay.
He should score still, don't get me wrong, but it's a good save.
So at this point, we're looking at Villa and going, no team this season has lost more games from winning positions than Aston Villa.
Lost more points, I think it is.
Lost more points, you're absolutely right. And we're 2-0 up. We've just missed a penalty. This would be peak Villa to fall apart.
This is what I was thinking. I was thinking, that's going to be the turning point, isn't it? We can't hold a lead to save our lives at the moment. 2-0 up, chance to probably finish the game with 3. And we've blown it. But then we start the second half and we do exactly what we need to do.
And it feels like such a breath of fresh air that we start the second half and it's not just letting them come on to us. We take it to them. And Grealish is the architect of that. He's been so important in this game in the game against Norwich, and he's really shown what he can be as a Premier League footballer.
Yeah, the goal was quite reminiscent of the Rotherham goal, I thought.
Yeah,
the 1-2 and the way the ball came back. I
was going to come to that. Yeah,
he said about it like Dean Smith said he wanted him to score a tap in before the game, and he apparently got his tap in, and he said that it was harder than that. It's a good finish on his left foot, because I was when it came to him, I wasn't automatically thinking, he's going to bag on his left foot there. He did it quite comfortably, because
it's kind of on the volley, isn't it? So Grealish makes the technique, makes the move, lays it off to El Ghazi on the right. El Ghazi, quite unselfishly, I would say, he could have had a go at it.
Yeah, clever, and that shows his intelligence as well.
Definitely pulls it back to Grealish on the edge of the box, and Grealish opens his body out, puts it away with his left foot, and it's not an easy finish, like you say, and it's kind of skimming up, but he just directs it home past McGovern. McGovern has no chance. I don't think there's many goalkeepers that save that. No. And it's a beautiful finish and a really well worked goal, and something that Grealish deserves.
Yeah, he had a really good game for me. He was man of the match. Grealish. It was just a joy to watch. Yeah. I loved watching him. He's one of them games where you watch him and you just think he's so good. We're so lucky to have him. Just on his day, the perfect footballer. He's just so graceful in everything that he does. The way he carries the ball, his close control. It looks effortless. It looks like he's like gliding on water when he's running with the ball. He's so unique. He's got to keep it up, but England need a player like Jack Grealish. I noticed you mentioned to Henry Winter whether there was going to be a call up, a potential midfield call up, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But no.
It was a good game for Grealish to have just before the international break, but maybe he could have done with it.
Squad had already been announced, hadn't he? He could have done with that last week against Burnley, really. But there were signs that he was starting. I don't think Jack will have been, when he was found out he's playing where he is, he would not have been pleased with it. He said a few weeks ago, I want to be a number 8, I want to play centrally, that's my position. I'm not a 10, I'm not a wide player, I'm an 8. That's what I want to do. Unfortunately, in the Premier League so far, playing as an 8, he's quite often found himself too withdrawn. He hasn't been as far forward as we need him to be, because we need him to be effective and dangerous in the final third in the Premier League if we're to have a successful season, because he's our talisman, he's our best player. Playing from the left has got him into the areas where we need him to be, and it's not the position he wants to play, but I bet you he's warming to it now after Saturday. I bet he's thinking, actually, it's not bad here. This is going to be good for me. It's a good thing. Getting him higher up the pitch. In the Championship, you can play him as an 8 and he'll destroy teams on his own, because he's that good. In the Premier League, it's harder. But if he's floating around, not really got a natural position, Connor and McGinn are popping up in different places, covering out wide when he comes inside. It's hard to play against. So it's made Grealish more dangerous, and it's made him even more unpredictable than he already is. Yeah. So him popping up all over the place is brilliant for us.
Well, El Ghazi and Grealish, they link up not long after, and Grealish just puts it wide, and it's another example of the fact that El Ghazi's getting involved and becoming a real playmaker, and again, not necessarily getting the credit for it at times. El Ghazi is the whole midfield kind of unit is supporting each other, and we don't necessarily have one player that's always going to be on the end of things, which is brilliant. We have people putting things together for other people, and it's a really fluid concept, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. think of all the turgid, rigid, horrible Villa sides you've seen over the years that haven't got a clue, and think about how far away this is from that. And I talked about it a little bit last week in that Dean Smith makes players better. He seems to make players more intelligent. Yeah. You'd say, how much more intelligent is Jack than he was a year ago? And he was pretty intelligent then, but think how much more intelligent is he than he was a year ago? McGinn, when he first came, he was brilliant, and the way he ran and everything, it was like really unique. It was great to see, but at times I did feel like he was running at the wrong times, a bit of a headless chicken. Now he puts it all to good use. It's all come together as one package, and he's been one of the standout players in the Premier League.
Widely recognised.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's across the country. People are saying, "Oh, he's a good player, McGinn. He looks really good." I've read an article in Football 365 today, and that he was mentioned in it as being the kind of midfielder England wish they had. John McGinn in there, so he's making a name for himself. But Dean Smith has made him better.
I agree.
And that's what Dean Smith does.
I agree. So 60 minutes in, 3-0 up, and Villa having a nice time, and Norwich keep messing it about. They don't really know how to get out of that system, and I'm not sure how, but Target pickpockets Buendia on the edge of the box.
He took up a weird position, Target, hadn't he, as well?
Weird. I had to double check that it was even Target, and so he absolutely robs Buendia and looks like he's about to shoot himself. I think potentially if Hourihane ends up missing that shot, then Target's a little bit annoyed. Hourihane pickpockets Target. Beautiful strike, and a great moment for Conor Hourihane, who...
I mean, you still say his surname.
I'm going to keep saying Hourihane. And
until he makes that phone call.
Yeah, please. Until he... And he... Oh, my God, you've thrown me. And he scores Premier League, Championship, League One, League Two. And it's a beautiful moment for him, and a real, again, a kind of... a show of conviction that he deserves his place in the Premier League.
What I will say is, when you're a veteran midfielder, you can take the ball off someone like that. When you're 45 years old, like Conor is, Tom,
come
you're a veteran midfielder.
He's a veteran. Do that.
He's not a veteran. The comments are going to say to you, "He ain't a veteran, Tom. He's not a veteran."
I don't need it tonight.
You're wrong again, Tom.
I don't need it.
It's a great finish. Yeah. Good moment, like you say. It's just a great moment for him. Obviously, someone that we've championed pretty much every podcast I think that we've ever done, to be fair, haven't we?
Oh man, I kind of love.
I feel quite vindicated by it there.
100%. It's not mine or your achievement. It's not our achievement.
I'll take a portion of the
but it feels like we've been banging this drum for so long, and for so many weeks on end we got grief for backing Conor, and now he's doing brilliantly, and he's such a valuable player because whether you like him or not, he helps us score more goals. He assists more, he scores more, he does his defensive work, which I don't think is credited enough.
Flies under the radar completely,
massively. And
good point.
He's thank you. He's been undervalued by several, if not many, Villa fans. And
not me and you, Tom.
And it's great to see that he's doing good work for Villa, and that's brilliant. That's all I wanted to see. I wanted to see Villa doing well with Conor playing well.
A quick plug that I did write an article on my thoughts on Hourihane. I've done it wrong again. I'm Conor coming back into the team for, I don't even know how to say their website name, 7,500 to the Holt.
I say 7,500 to Holt.
Yeah, but either way, it's a 7 and a 5 and 2 zeros to the Holt. I wrote something about my thoughts on him coming back into the team and his mentality, and that's what impresses me most with him. His mentality. Every time he gets back in the team, it's on merit. It's not because someone's injured or someone else's form's dropped off or whatever. He forces his way into the side. Dean Smith has moved Grealish out of position essentially to get Conor in the team because he realised the value in having him in there. He just always makes an impact, and he always seems to deliver. Ratio since he's been at the club's fantastic for a midfielder, and he wants to play. The interview with him the other week when he wasn't in the team, you could see written all over his face how unhappy and miserable he was. The guy wants to play football. Yeah, that's interesting. He's a winner. We talked about it a little while back about Lansbury being comfortable and Cudicini and these players that are quite happy to be in the squad but not necessarily in the team. Conor's not like that. He's desperate to make the most of his career, and he wants to play for Ireland and he wants to play in the Premier League, and everything seems to be coming together for him as is deserved because he's worked blooming hard for it. It's a great time for it. It's such a good story. as well to do everything he's done, score at all those different levels and at international level as well. It speaks volumes about his character and his mentality. He must be so strong mentally. Never give up, never gives in. Gets it and always finds himself back in the team. And when he finds himself back in that team, he scores important goals. I think back to the playoffs last season. He'd have been devastated not to have started that first game at Villa Park.
Oh yeah.
He comes on for Whelan within 10 minutes. He's lashing the ball home, and he even then you could see in his face the anger that he wasn't starting. He thought he should be starting, and he's one of those players that will live in the manager's office.
Oh yeah,
he will be when he's not in the team. He will be in the manager's office. But I think that's a good thing.
I think we saw that against Brighton in the cup, didn't we?
Yeah.
That he wasn't just happy to play; he wanted to prove a point, and that's exactly what we want from Villa players. Is that they don't want to be happy being part of the squad; they want to be playing and. Obviously, you want a good kind of squad cohesion and all that kind of stuff, but there does need to be the competition.
He just lives for proving people wrong. There have been loads of fans that have written him off and saying, he's not going to be good enough in the Premier League.
The guy sitting in front of you?
Guy sitting in front of me, I don't think he's ever smiled in the 25, 26 years I've had a season ticket. I don't think I've ever seen him smile. Even my friend Ash sat with me in the last game and he said the same thing. What does this guy? This guy's just not happy with anything. Just frustrated, a frustrated man. But yeah, he just comes in and he makes an impact. And I'm really, really pleased for him. And usually when he plays, a few people will swear, I'll always get something you can guarantee. I didn't get anything about him this weekend except for, I bet you're feeling some guy. He played really, really well.
Yeah.
Great player, great person, fantastic.
All good. And that may have been the goal of the game until Douglas Luiz, substitute, kind of comes on, and that I've watched that goal so many times. I think it's a work of art. Douglas Luiz's goal. It's one of my I just think it's beautiful the way it's laid off to him, and I love it when a player just pushes the ball forward as if he's got all the time in the world, as if he's playing in the park, and he just.
At this point, I think we were playing in the park.
Yeah, well, that's true. He just pushes it forward, and it's a beautiful strike from Douglas Luiz.
One of those ones that you know as soon, to be fair, his goal against Bournemouth as well. As soon as he hit it, you just knew it was going in.
Yeah,
he just curled around the curl on it. It's unbelievable technique, Brazilian technique.
He's got a touch of class, hasn't he?
Yeah. He finds himself out of the team, surprisingly. But I mean, man, we haven't even spoke about Nakamba.
Well, come on, yeah.
Probably in the top 3 for man of the match, I would say. But I didn't see I saw Grealish and Hourihane. I saw Grealish and Connor in teams of the week.
Yeah.
On various websites and whatever. I didn't see Nakamba in there, but he was brilliant. His impact can't be understated either. He's just in the right place, interception, simple pass, brilliant.
Well, we waxed lyrical about Nakamba last week, didn't we? And it was more of the same against Norwich. I felt like he had a bit more freedom. There wasn't as much pressure with Nakamba against Burnley, who's under a little bit more pressure.
Burnley are a physical side, aren't they? Norwich, like you said, they've got a way of playing. They're quite tippy-tappy.
Yeah.
That's Norwich. Burnley, they want to be physical and in your face. Yeah. That's how they do business.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way of playing. That works best for them. That's why they do it.
Something I liked about Luiz's goal was that Wesley set it up. He was the one that made the goal, and he kind of drops deep, and that's part of his game, and why he's not just a kind of sit-up centre forward that is just played around. He comes
loves
in.
To come deep. It's one of his favourite things to do.
He gets involved, and then they had a little Brazilian dance.
I was going to ask what you thought about the dance.
I didn't think it was well executed.
No,
I thought the intention was good, but the execution was poor.
What would you give it? Strictly Come Dancing? No, what would you give it?
I don't watch Strictly Come Dancing.
You know how it works, surely.
Like a 6 out of 10.
6? That high?
Is that high?
I was going to say 4.
Oh, really?
Well, you asking me if 6 out of 10 is high. It's over halfway.
I don't know. It was fine. I don't care so much.
I think they've got work to do on the Brazilian dancing.
Sure.
I think they're capable of better.
Yeah.
That would be my challenge to them.
Right, okay, that's the problem.
Because they listen, of course.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Wesley pretty much said, my friend danced, so I danced as well.
Yeah.
That was a simple way.
It didn't look that well orchestrated.
I tell you, if I was playing football with you and you scored a goal like that and started doing that dance, I wouldn't be thinking, he's my friend, I'll join him for that. I'd be leaving you to your own devices with that one.
I think I could pull it off on my own.
I mean, it's not a difficult dance, to be honest. We could probably do it here in the booth.
I've tried to dance in the booth before, and you've been...
I mean, that wasn't dancing, that was a handstand, mate.
At the Albert Adoma?
That was a handstand, that's not dancing, that's doing gymnastics.
I think I've done the...
But was that what Louise did?
No, that was the Albert Adoma, the old man.
That's an old man.
That was the walking stick.
Yeah, but you're doing the walking stick now. That wasn't what you did the first
You've
time.
been very critical. So
mate, you kept me waiting for 2 hours. That's what happens.
Let's be critical of Villa for a second. It all kind of fell apart in 87th minute, where it doesn't really matter that it's fallen apart, but still, McGinn gives away, or not, McGinn has a free kick. It's a weird free kick over the top of the defence.
It's
to Mings.
Showboat time at this point.
And I mean, Mings can rectify that, but he doesn't. Mings' pass is not good either. He kind of miss-kicks it, and it's another looping pass to Heaton. Heaton's not quick off his line, and Dermich is the one that gets there first. It's ugly. The whole thing is ugly. Again, there's a little bit. It feels like there's a little bit of heat between Heaton and Mings. It's 100% Mings' fault, that.
Yeah, I do think Heaton could have been a little bit quicker off his line, although I do think he's carrying a knock. Obviously, he's withdrawn from the England squad since, but Steer was warming up quite heavily in the first half, because I think Heaton had a pull or a knock somewhere. The way they looked at each other, it reminded me a little bit of an incident that happened at home the other day. So we were going to work, me and the wife work in the same place, and I was
dangerous territory.
I was making us a bit slow, so I was going to make us a touch late, maybe 5 minutes late, let's say.
Okay.
And she was getting cross with me. She had a little bit of a whinge at me. So we start driving to work. We drive pretty much all the way there, and she goes, "Oh, I haven't got my pass. We're gonna have to go back. Home." So we drove home. Ben, at this point, we're later than we would have been just for me being slow.
Sure.
Goes into the house, comes back out. Can't find my pass. It's not at home. Gets back in the car. Looks in the glove box. She put it in the glove box last night. So she's then delayed us. She knows she's done wrong.
Right.
I didn't need to say anything to her.
Right.
Because she knows that she was having a go at me, and then she's ended up causing what she didn't want to happen. It's a bit like Mings and Hean. They know there's been mistakes made. They don't need to say anything. They're a little barge. We'll get on with it. I mean, I didn't barge into her or anything.
Yeah, she gets out of the car and just knock her over.
Maybe if I'd seen Hean and Mings, I'd have given her a little barge, but no. It's reminded me a little bit of that.
That's good.
Nothing needs to be said, because it's clear whose fault this is.
Everybody gets on with their job, and
I carried on. There's no point having a fight about it.
Yeah.
I probably did have a smug look on my face.
Yeah. Oh, that's an excellent
Driving
story.
one-handed like that, smug, knowing that it's her fault we're late. And then I text my boss as well, so wife's left the pass at home, going to be late.
I mean, I think it should be remembered that Dan and his wife could walk to work. It's about 20-minute walk.
Bring that up, isn't it? Mate, wait, I mean, you wouldn't know about this, but sometimes I have to carry 3 bags to work, because I go to the gyms. I have to carry a gym bag. That's something you're not familiar with. Sometimes I have to carry a podcast bag, depending on what we're doing, and my work bag. So sometimes I have 3 bags. I'm not walking when I have 2+ bags.
This is a snippy little podcast, but I used to live basically 2 minutes from where you live, right?
Yeah.
I used to do my food shop basically where we are now. I used to take a travelling rucksack, fill the rucksack up. So I'd had a full rucksack with meat, fish, and veg.
Yeah.
And that was way more heavy than 3 bags.
And the Tesco's is at the same place as work, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I will say is that you have the option of a car because you haven't got a car.
Well, exactly. So I made do.
I've got the option.
Yeah, but you don't need to take it, is what I'm saying. Extinction Rebellion, come on.
I don't even know what that means.
The people that are protesting in London.
Yeah.
Which we don't condone because they are getting in my way.
I don't really keep up with what's going on with the news and all that, to be honest.
Fair enough. Well,
that's just a sport for me.
Let's focus on the Villa. So 5-1 win, a massive statement victory, whoever you're playing, like you say, a huge win, and it comes ahead of a game at home against Brighton, and Villa now 15th and looking okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about the Brighton game too much, because otherwise we won't have anything to talk about next week.
Sure. I might not make it next week.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
As in, I'm in trouble. I might not be allowed
Probably
out.
not. My story was a little bit brave, but just blatantly admitting you're in trouble with the other half on the podcast feels braver.
No, she's fine.
Are you saying that now? It was a coy look on your face when you said that. You are terrified, because you're very under the thumb, as is, in my opinion.
But Brighton, we look ahead to it, and you've got to be positive.
It's a home game. A team that you imagine are going to be around where we finish, same as Norwich. Again, got to build on it, must win. And I say no point winning against Norwich, that's not true, but back-to-back wins are what get you up the league. You win back-to-back games, you're laughing. If you were to do that 4 or 5 times a season, you'll be okay. Just get a couple of back-to-back wins, because that's the Premier League bottom half. I think that's what it's about, is the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
That's what gets you up the league. That's the difference between finishing 11th, 12th, or finishing 17th, 18th, in my opinion.
One guy you wanted to talk about was Target. Wicked01.
I don't want to talk about it anymore. I tried to get it in about an hour ago.
Who were the last pair of fullbacks we had that offer as much to the team as Gilbert and Target? They've transformed us. Dave Alford says Wright and Delaney. Didn't they give as much?
Delaney was very good. One of my favourite Villa players, to be fair, Delaney. But I don't know whether he was he used to come forward. He had a great engine on him, but I'm not sure whether his end product was that good, Delaney.
Yeah.
Alan Wright and Fernando Nelson at wing back.
Oh, nice.
I might go with.
Exotic.
Yeah.
What do you think about the defensive performance? Not only back four, great result, but a better team / margins. We could easily have conceded early. We were very open, and they had lots of chances. That's Paul Bendixson, or Paul Bendixson as his actual name.
That's where I think we can. I mean, we've laughed about it essentially, but you can criticise Mings for making an error at the end of the game. I thought in the first half he made some really telling contributions, goal-saving contributions. So I thought we look a better team in general, don't we? We look more balanced. We look like we know what we're doing, and like I say, I really think Target made a massive difference out there.
Brett Leader, okay, we slam Norwich. Next, we try to go better with Brighton. Then we do over the next couple because we're the Villa. It was only 10 last year. What can we do this year? Okay, maybe a little too positive.
I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I understood anything that was just said.
He's basically like, all right, we've beaten Norwich, now we beat Brighton, and then we go on a 10-game winning streak.
I think that's... we've got Man City and Liverpool coming up.
Yeah.
To be fair, Wolves went to Man City and did a job on them. Didn't they? I'm certainly not as worried about that game away at Man City as I was. Don't get me wrong, we'll probably get beat, but I was worried about getting thumped. They're a different team to what they were last season.
I want to go in full of confidence to the game against Brighton.
We'll take the game to them, we'll try and play.
Yeah.
It's the only way we know.
They
can be got out of the back.
And that's a better way to play than when we sit back. We've seen when we try and sit back that it just doesn't work. It's a bit like when under Bruce, we'd sit on a lead and it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah, you kind of feel like under Bruce, not to pick on Bruce, but you go there and you lose 3-0 and he's probably quite happy.
Yeah.
You've only lost 3-0.
Yeah.
If we lose 3-0 and we've had a go, Dean Smith won't be happy with that. And we'll be happy that we've had a go and okay, we've lost 3-0. But you'd rather lose like that than just sitting back boring negative.
That kind of answers Matt Collins' question, can we realistically play this way versus Man City and Liverpool?
Don't get me wrong, we're not going to play the same way at City as we did against Norwich. There'll be little tweaks that we'll make, but we will go there to try and win the game. We won't go there to try and nick a point. We'll go to places and try and have a go.
Yeah.
But we won't be as open.
One thing we have to talk about from the Norwich game was the Nakamba chant, which came out, and it is ugly. It's not a good look. It's an embarrassing look, essentially, on our club. And I don't know if anybody that watches this was a part of the chant or not. And if you are, then take a look at yourself, man, because it was.
Well, if you are, you're probably in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like there's no beating around this. It was racist chant, and we were all young once, and we've said stupid stuff, and we've done stupid stuff, and all that kind of stuff. But take this opportunity, look at yourself, and don't do it again, because it's embarrassing.
I mean, look, I'm not a perfect person.
That's true.
We all make mistakes. Everyone does it. It's just a fact of life. Yeah. But there's a difference between that and what happened on Saturday. I think someone's gone to the trouble of making that chant up. It's not like it's just a throwaway chant.
Yeah.
Someone's gone there with the intention of singing that. So someone's made up that song and put those words together essentially before the game and gone to the game with the intention of singing that song, which is wrong. Whether or not they know that it's racist when they make it up is a different debate. But even if they don't know, it's not an excuse at all. It's just to put shame on the club, really. We've had a great day, won 5-1, something that hasn't happened too often in Villa away days over the last 5 to 10 years, has it really? And it's not overshadowed it, but it's ugly,
yeah,
as you say. And I think the players were disgusted by the club as a whole. Seemed like they're zero tolerance, are completely disgusted by it as well. A lot of Villa accounts and Villa fans have come out and said how bad it is, which is absolutely right. But
Villa does a huge amount of good work in Villa Trust and Villains Together, to combat this, and groups like the Punjabi Villains are and everybody's kind of working together to make Villa a wholesome, a family club, and a great place for families and young and parents to take their young children and all that kind of stuff. That is all great, and Villa's a brilliant place to be, and I would totally recommend it. But you can make that mistake once, I think, making that chant. You sing that song, if you're a kid and you get it wrong and you think that it's funny at the time, make that mistake once. Don't do it again. I think that's the important thing. Let's not see that again.
I do feel, I mean, it won't happen again.
Yeah.
There's no chance that'll ever happen again. It's a bit of a society problem. I do think a lot of it stems from social media, like where people think they can say the most outrageous thing that they can and it's going to bang, or whatever, and it's kind of made its way into modern life now. You say something that's a bit close to the edge. I mean, this wasn't even close to the edge.
Yeah.
By the way, it's way beyond that, and you think people are gonna find it funny because it's controversial and stuff like that, and it's just not good. It's ugly. I
think if you want to take it back to a Villa persona, then Tammy Abraham has said that if England experience racist abuse, then the whole team will walk off together. This is the kind of thing he's talking about. If we get this from foreign fans, he will walk away, and that's massively important. If you want to put it into a Villa context, you know, that's maybe somebody that you look up to or was a love for last season, then he's saying it ain't right, and it ain't.
I mean, it doesn't even rhyme.
That's true. That's true.
The ending, the bit. I mean, to be honest, the bit at the end's not even the worst bit of the chant.
No.
But I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of the concert song, and that was my takeaway from the concert song, was that, like, it doesn't even make sense.
It's a crap. The whole thing is crap.
I mean, but the fact that it doesn't fit is irrelevant, really.
The least of our problems. Yeah. So don't do it again. If you did sing it, don't sing it again. Bottom line.
I mean, you might not get the chance to, because they're going to ban people, I think.
Yes. A good thing that came out of the Norwich Villa game was we got a new fan, a young royal fan.
Yes, that was great.
Prince George absolutely loved what he saw, particularly from Connor, and it was just.
He's been listening to the podcast, I think, George.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
He's been waiting for that moment.
It was a beautiful thing. I mean, there's not much better than a kid enjoying themselves at the football. I know there's a few videos now where people are taking the mick out of the videos where the kids walk out at stadiums and they go, "Oh, this is amazing," kind of thing. That's all fine, well and good. But that George was loving loving the football atmosphere like any other kid would have done, and he had such a good time, and it was great that the Villa is a part of his life.
Did you say that there was a Norwich fan wrote to the club to complain, saying he should have been kicked out, and that if he'd have seen, like, he was in that stand, he said it's a home stand,
right?
They were saying, and he said if he'd have been any closer and witnessed that happening, he would have asked the stewards to remove him.
That's not true.
Mate, it's true. I've read it earlier.
I mean, that's bizarre.
It's true.
That's so funny.
I mean, they were in the home end.
Yeah.
Weren't they? You could tell the part of it, you know what, he'd been told not to, look, you're in the... He probably had to explain to him in a very basic form.
Yeah.
You're in the home end. You can't, if Villa score, just don't go over the top. I know you'll be very happy you're a Villa fan, but don't go over the top, because there's Norwich fans who are going to be unhappy amongst you. I feel like he took that and just thought, I'm going to go wild, Dad.
I mean, he's 4 or 5.
I think he's 6.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing.
It's great though. Just the joy on his face. That's what football's all about.
Unprecedented, like,
he won't.
Unadulterated joy.
I've barely ever seen any away wins in my life, because we never seem to win when I go. I'm a bit annoyed that he goes to his first away game. We win 5-1.
I did see a few people saying, "Where's his subs?
Yeah, where's his booking history?"
How many times has he been? Shocking.
I definitely did feel like he was trying to play up to his dad a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
He was enjoying it for sure, but I feel like he was told not to over celebrate.
Do you think at 5 or 6, you know that you're different from the other kids? Because he goes to a very posh school, and like all of the kids will be very wealthy. Do you think he knows
if your grandma's the queen? I think you've probably got some idea that you're a bit different.
But like as a kid, you don't really like. Know
I've never been in a position, Tom, so I can't talk for how you must feel, but how the royal family.
Your dad's like a royal.
Is it?
No.
What did you say?
I don't know.
It reminded me a little bit of a story when I was a kid, where I was told that I couldn't make, like, obviously I'm sitting in the whole end from 6-7 years old. I was, so I've become accustomed to bad language and whatnot, and wanted to join. You want to join in when you're a kid, don't you? Because you want to just be one of the lads. I'm seeing everyone around me do it. I want to do it, and I remember making a certain hand gesture, and being told, no, I don't want to see you doing that. You can join in with the song, swearing. Don't tell my mum. Don't tell your mum about it. You can join in with the song swearing, that's fine. That's part of the atmosphere. I don't want to see hand gestures from you. I just wanted to do it because he told me not to. And I remember I used to have an apple at half time, and I bit my apple. I think I was supposed to be enjoying the game, actually. I bit my apple, pretended I bit my hand, and then went, and then made the hand gesture as I'd bit the apple, just because I just wanted to do it, and to prove to him, I'm going to do it, dude.
Did your deception, did you get away with it?
Probably, he wouldn't have known what was going on, probably.
What a great Apple-related story.
Thanks. I've told a couple of good tales tonight.
Yeah, really
great
good.
Tales, yeah.
Okay, before we get out of here, because we're already at 1 hour 5, we should give a little plug to 1 to 11 Kits, whom are responsible for some of these jerseys that we wear. Obviously we bought them, but they are the reason that we've got them in the end. 1 to 11 Kits is taking part in the Retro Football Fair.
I wanted to go to that, but I can't go.
Which is at Sasha's Hotel in Manchester this Saturday. It's free entry, and there's going to be tons of kits, essentially. A lot of Villa kits on offer.
I'll get to look out for some Villa shirts for me. Some rare finds.
Some mediums.
Sean knows what I like and what I like.
So if you are around Manchester and you fancy a bit of retro kit action, make sure you head down to Sasha's Hotel in Manchester.
What's he doing in Manchester? I know he lives that way.
I think it's part of a bigger thing, is that it's not just his, but maybe it's a collection. I don't know.
Yeah, there's other people there as well.
Not
collectors.
Sure, but if you are interested in retro kits and all that kind of stuff, then check out 1 to 11 Kits anyway on Twitter, because it's great. Sean does a lot of good work and a lot of Villa stuff, as well as some international and
he's got some beauties from this Serie A.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, some good ones. Some Romas.
Very nice indeed. And that's it. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up before we get out of here, and it's just an administration error. So last week we talked about our competitions, and we've got a couple of competitions that we ended last week. Gave this away.
Oh, we haven't, because I've seen your hand.
To Brenton. I sent a couple of messages to Brenton.
This is an accident, 100%.
Sent out a couple of messages to Brenton, and hopefully you're listening, Brenton. And you provided me with your address, and we've got all that sorted.
In Australia.
So I went to...
Only we could pick a competition when you're in Australia.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm absolutely happy to send it. No worries at all. But I went to send it today. I went to look up your address. You've blocked me? What's happened? I mean, I
don't even follow me, Brenton.
Yeah, well, that's also true. So, just a kind of a plea for some.
It has to be an accident.
A plea for rationale.
It just had to be an accident.
I feel quite offended. I'm sure I'm not blocked by many people, but
I don't know. There's a way of looking.
No,
to be honest, no, I'm not sure.
Brenton, reach out, please. Let's bridge this gap, because all we want to do is be friends.
One more administration. I've had a lot of people asking me about the mugs. This is just me saying to you now, probably a conversation we don't need to have whilst doing the podcast.
Sure,
we need to get on that.
Yes, we are.
A lot of people asking me about mugs.
There's going to be a Christmas sale on mugs, and I realise that Christmas is actually creeping around, and we need to sell them.
I felt like when you said that you were thinking Christmas is further away than he's trying to buy us some time.
No, it's not. We will sort that out in the next couple of weeks.
There's one shout out as well.
Cool.
Anniversary.
Yes.
Dean Smith, 1 year at Villa today.
Very nice.
He rang in and said, can you just say something about my 1 year anniversary with my love? And yeah, Dean Smith, manager for a year. And what a year it's been.
Somebody asked on the comments, like, has this been the best year of your Villa supporting career? Originally it was best year of your life, and I think I can get away with that because my son was born.
Yes. Can you get away with it today though?
Definitely not.
In the doghouse.
No. Best Villa supporting year, do you think?
The trouble is, there's we had a spell where it wasn't great in the last year, didn't we? Where we were rubbish, and then we went on that 10 in a row. So probably 95, 96, that year was probably the best Villa support year of my life. We won the League Cup, finished 4th in the league. Dwight York was banging them in. It was when I was second or third year into my season ticket at that point. I was just starting to really love it and understand it. I think that's probably the one I look back and say is the best Villa year of my life. Yeah,
I mean, I think
it's up there for sure though.
Yeah,
Dean Smith's a hero.
Those were the early years of me starting to support Villa as well. Like, I was only 6, I think, at the time, but when you're that age and football becomes a thing and you kind of just get obsessed with it, that was
I've never not really been obsessed with football, to be fair, since then.
Yeah,
it's that, but that was what really made me go. And then Euro 96 followed that season as well, which was incredible. So, yeah, that year was the best year of my footballing life.
This has got to be up there, though, because it's nice to have we've talked about it before, a Villa manager, a Villa captain, team doing well. The ownership seems to be strong. Yeah,
it's a team that you like.
We've said that for a couple of years, haven't we? With the Snodgrass era, John Terry playing like that, it felt like Villa's got it right again after a few years of being down in the doldrums. There are a lot of players that we can kind of get behind, and this season doesn't feel. Apart from that, it's good.
Yeah, and long may it continue.
Absolutely, right.
But he's mostly thanks to the 1 year anniversary man, Dean Smith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is international break, so there won't be any preview or fan cams or anything this weekend.
We'd be struggling to do a fan cams when there's no game.
Exactly. If you do want to catch the matchday experience, which was a new thing for the Villa View from the Norwich game, make sure you go to YouTube. That's really good. And
we're just trying things, aren't we, at this moment in time? Seeing what goes down well, seeing what doesn't.
Yeah,
we're free from the shackles of Rollinson.
Exactly. After the Rollinsons let us loose, we're going to try a few things and see what happens.
I did Q&A on Insta earlier, just off the cuff while I was waiting for you.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
did you actually?
Did one off the cuff.
I should pay more attention, shouldn't I? So that's good. So we're going to do a few bits and pieces, and all of these things might not stay, but we're going to see what people like and just play around with it.
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Brenton, get in touch, please.
How long are you going to give him a deadline?
By next podcast.
I mean, we don't know when we're doing it yet,
but next week.
Okay, yeah.
Brenton, reach out, please. I want to right these wrongs.
He's not happy about being blocked. He doesn't like it. You can tell.
I don't feel good about it. I've had too much heartache in my day today.
Tom, for sure. Well, would you be having a normal conversation with you and then block him?
Yeah.
Block you, sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah. Unless you like Jolly and Lescotted something from your pocket to him.
Maybe.
Yeah, who knows?
There we go. Anyway, please like, subscribe, comment, all of those things. We massively appreciate it, and we'll see you next week.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.